Hey everybody, I just got home and there's some major news today, and that is that Jagex is actually considering putting a old boot of a 2007 server back into the game. Well, I guess it's not really back into the game. They're pretty much making a separate game out of it, but it is from August 2007, and so this is some pretty major news. But before I get into that, I just want to say that I will not be able to get an episode of Bossing the Bibles out today. I'm going to be very busy, but I will make sure that Friday's episode is amazing for you guys. So anyway, without further ado, let's get on into this. And so it's pretty much just going through a bunch of different things about how, like, Mod Mark was talking about this last week and blah 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 that no one really cares about. But basically, what happened is they've been looking through and they found an old boot of the game from August 2007. And so, with this, they're opening up a poll, kind of how they did with Wildy Free Trade a little while ago. But this time, the poll is only going to be to active subscribing members, because Jagex wants us to be influencing the game and not necessarily people who have left the game or only play the free game, like occasionally or casually. They want the really hardcore RuneScape players to be influencing this poll. So, if we get 50,000 signatures on their poll, then they will be putting in a 2007 server that has a additional membership fee of $15, which just it sounds like a lot to me. I would not pay that. I just wouldn't pay it, mainly because of reasons that I'll talk about once I finish going through this. But there will be no content updates, and they're only fixed critical maintenance problems. So you know Jagex with critical maintenance, that means, like, if it's been a year and no one can log in, then maybe they'll think about fixing it in another 3 years. So that's kind of how that'll go. And if there is 250,000 signatures on their little poll, then they will add a small development team. They will be hiring extra people. This is not going to be taking away from the current developers who are working on the current main game, which is the game with the EOC implemented. So they'll have a very small development team. There will be a smaller membership fee of around $5 extra. Keyword here is extra. You're not going to be able to just subscribe to the pre-EOC game, the 2007 game. You are going to have to be a RuneScape member and then also pay an additional fee to get onto these servers. And $5 is really not too bad. It's a big jump from the 15 over here, but once again, it's still a lot more signatures to get on there. And so that will, if we get to 250,000 on there, then Jagex will be putting in for $5 extra, and it will receive the basic maintenance that a game needs, along with bug fixes, a couple improvements here and there, and then maybe they will put in some anti-bot technology. But the key word here is that they say over time, and so over time I'm thinking that that is going to be a really long time after it actually launches, if it launches, and then it will be just kind of like a very long time after they actually get it launched before they do anything about a botting issue, which my guess is going to run rampant because everyone knows exactly how the old game works. But that's just my guess. Alright guys, so if that number doubles and it goes from 250,000 signatures to 500,000 signatures, then the servers will come back separate to the main game with a dedicated development team and absolutely zero extra membership fee. So if any of you guys are planning on voting for this, this is probably the mark that you really want to hit with it, and you want to get to here so that you aren't paying any extra for the actual game. And then these servers will have regular maintenance fixing, things that need to be fixed, a couple content updates, and then also the integration of anti-bot technologies if necessary. Once again, I feel that with these servers there's going to be a large botting issue originally, and then maybe later down the road Jagex will put in some anti-bot measures which might possibly fix it a little bit, but it's going to be pretty much like it is now. There's always going to be bots unless they can really figure stuff out about that. If the poll hits a mark of 750,000 votes, then there will be no membership fee, as well as there was in the 500,000 mark, but there will also be the free portion of the game available. So that means that all these other things right here will be members exclusive to get onto those old servers, But if it hits 750,000, then there will be an option for people who are free to play to come back and play on that, which might possibly get them interested in subscribing again, so you never know about how that will go. But these servers will receive continuous maintenance, modern anti-bot technology if necessary, so that is like I've said for all the other ones, and then crucially, regular members polls to determine which updates you want to see prioritized. And I love that line right there. I wish that they'd apply that a little bit more to the main game with EOC in it and everything. I think that would be really nice. But it's going to be cool to see how, if this goes through and it hits 750,000 votes, it's going to be really cool to see how they actually do that. But once again, this will have its own dedicated team. It will not be taking away from the current main game. There will be initially a little bit where it'll take away a little bit of their time at the very start of it, but after that there won't be any time that they take away from the main devs of the main game. So they're just kind of going through about what the server's going to be here. The link is in the description if you guys want to read through this for yourself. And then the main thing, of course, that you all need to know is the poll will be live on the website this Friday, 15th of February. Another thing to remember is that you will be starting as a level 3, fresh, new account, nothing on you at all. And so it's going to be basically entering into a new RuneScape if it was 2007 again. But now I just kind of want to go over quickly some stuff that I've thought about, a little bit of my opinion on this. And that is that, first of all, there's really going to be no PVM whatsoever in 07, like an 07 server. There's barely any bosses. I mean, unless you love KBD, then I mean, be my guest. But there's no Corp, there's no God Wars, there's no Tormented Demons. No Tormented Demons means that there's no D-Claws in the game. So there's also no Korasis in the game. So there's no like really OP spec weapons in the wilderness for you PKers out there. There is no overloads in 07, and there's also no turmoil in 07. So right there, I mean, turmoil is pretty essential to PKing, as it was pretty much my playtime. I started playing a little bit as a free-to-play member probably in 08, and I mean, I didn't really do too much. I made an account at my friend's birthday party, and that was pretty much it. The next time I played was probably 6 months later at my friend's house again. 09, I started playing. I made a new free-to-play account that I actually remember the password to, and I started playing again a little bit as free-to-play for a year until I got membership. And since then, I've just been going full out on the game. But anyway, besides my little side story there, there's really no PVM at all in 07. There's no overloads, which goes into the no PVM, as well as no bosses. There's no chaotics because there's no dungeoneering, and there's no summoning either. Summoning, I mean, just think about that, how long summoning has been in the game, and there's not going to be any summoning in an 07 server. It's crazy to kind of think that it is really that long ago. I mean, this is 6 years ago pretty much, give or take a couple of months. It's 6 years ago. So from like a PVMer's perspective, there's absolutely nothing to do in that game. From a skilling perspective, yeah, there's some stuff you can do, but I think it would be a lot easier to just skill in the EOC. Plus, there's a lot more benefits of skilling in the EOC. So I see PVMers and skillers staying in the version of the game with EOC already there. But just overall, I see it as mainly 07. The 07 server is just going to be for PKers. I can't see any other use of it than that. There's not going to be a Grand Exchange on there, which is just weird. I mean, the Grand Exchange didn't come out until a couple months after the boot, so I mean, they might end up adding the Grand Exchange on if they get enough to the point where they have a dedicated team that has polls to determine whether or not, like what updates are going to be there. So, I mean, overall, I guess my main point is just that I'm a PVMer, so from my perspective, it's useless to me. And I think that a lot of other PVMers feel the same way. There's not going to be any overloads, there's not going to be any turmoil, no D-Claws or Korasi, which were the main spec weapons in the wilderness, and there's really not that much really in there that we take for granted today, like summoning, dungeoneering, and the Grand Exchange. So really, those are just the key things that I wanted to mention. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Add your own perspective down in the comments below. I'll be sure to read through them all, reply to as many as I can. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.